Welcome back to another of my videos. In today's video, we're going to be looking at terminologies that are used in stick fighting. I did promise that I would pull out the terminologies and put them in a video by themselves. So here goes. Stick fighting goes by several different names here within the Caribbean, and these terminologies are shared between Barbados and Trinidad. It's sometimes called the boa, calendar, stick licking, stick science, Creole wood, and batty. So the first terminology we're starting with is the guile. The guile, this is where the fight or the stick fighting competition occurs. Then we have the bâtonnière. This is a term used to describe the competitors participating in the stick fighting competition. The gatka. Gatka is a term used to describe the style of stick fighting brought to the Caribbean by the Indians. The carré. This is a type of dance that accompanies the stick fighting competition. Then we have the chantuelle. This is the lead singer who leads the chorus in the singing during the stick fighting competition. And a number of the stick fighting songs are call and responses. And because they're call and response songs, the chantuelle also leads the call and response. So he or she does the calling and the chorus or the audience will do the response. Lavouise. This is the term used to describe the songs sung during the stick fighting competition. And these terms are particularly important because a major component of stick fighting competition is the singing and the movement. So carré, chantuelle, lavouise. As the fight continues, there are different terms that they use to describe the fighting stance. And we start with attack or cutting. And this is a type of strike in which a stick is swung in a particular or circular motion to strike the opponent. And so you have to learn how to attack. Breaks or defend. And this is a defensive move in which the stick is used to deflect an incoming strike. And if you, as you can see from the image, you see the fighter, and I think this fighter is Keegan Taylor, in that breaks position where he's actually deflecting an incoming strike. Lawa, and that is a term used to describe the champion of a stick fighting competition. The Bloodhole. This is a term used in stick fighting to refer to the wound caused by a strike. And again, as you can see from the image in the video, the young man with the blood running down his face. And so where the stick hits and pierces the individual and the blood oozes from that, that is what is referred to as the blood hole. What are some additional terminologies that you believe that are used in stick fighting that I would not have mentioned? Go ahead and just put those in the comment section. But I want to share some additional information that are not necessarily terminologies, but are important information about stick fighting that you should know. Now, the best time to cut the poi stick that is often used in the stick fighting competition is usually during the dry season, particularly January to May, where we don't have much rain. And this is because the wood is less likely to be damaged by moisture or insects. And of course, the least likely it is that it is damaged, the more durable it will be for the fighting. In Trinidad, they use the poi stick for the stick fighting. However, in Barbados, what you'll find is that they use the wood from the green heart or the black belly wood. Mounting of stick. Now, this is a technique used by fighters to control their opponent. It is said to be connected to witchcraft. And if you are somebody who would have read Man Better Man by Errol Hill, this particular concept about the curing and the preparation of the poi stick or the boa for the stick fighting is actually explored in that particular text. Usually at the end of a stick fighting match or competition, it usually ends with a handshake or a hug. What this does, it tells the competitors that, listen, regardless of whoever wins, there's a certain level of respect that exists between us as competitors, and so it fosters healthy competition. And so we now want to look at the use of stick fighting in literature. And two solid pieces of literature within the Caribbean that would have utilized stick fighting is Ilawa, and this is written by Roald Gibbons, as well as Errol Hill's Man Better Man. And so if you don't know those plays, go and check them out. And so you can see how it is that stick fighting would have influenced those choice of plot and the characters, and just generally how the story would have developed. So let us look at some of the practitioners in stick fighting. One of the things about the practitioners within the stick fighting competition as well is that they also lead to the preservation of the stick fighting competition. And so we want to start with Boa Academy in Trinidad, that's led by Rondell, and of course his close associate Keegan, who also works closely with him in being a Boa man. Now, by having a Boa Academy, one might ask, so how does that preserve stick fighting competition? Because this is a school where persons can go to learn how to do the stick fighting and also learn about other things that stick fighting does for an individual. It leads to the preservation because this is continuous teaching and passing on of information in a very structured and formal way, rather than just allowing persons to pick it up along the way. Yeah. Historians and researchers are also people who are considered practitioners of stick fighting and aids in its preservation. And I would have posted a stick fighting video where there was Professor Dr. Philip Ford, who was speaking about stick fighting within Barbados and also making a comparison with that of Trinidad. And so I'm also going to put the link so you'll get a chance to see that video as well and learn from it for yourself. Practitioners continue to also include our writers of Caribbean literature who utilize stick fighting in their work. So for example, we just mentioned Man Better Man and Ilawa, and I'm sure there may be other literature texts that would have explored the use of stick fighting. What are some of those texts? Please put them in the comment section below. Other practitioners of the form continue to be the people who continue to practice stick fighting within their particular communities, and those who are brave enough and who dare to enter the ring to compete with each other to see who can emerge a victor or champion or the lawa in the stick fighting competition. And of course, you also have the theater practitioners who also utilize stick fighting in their work. And if you can see from the image here is a set from Ilawa production that was directed by Camille Kwamina at the Edna Manley College. And she would have utilized elements of the stick form, of the stick fighting to influence what the overall production looked like. So yes, the play Ilawa is also about stick fighting naturally, but she would have utilized other elements. So as you can see from the red heart on the ground. Now, in a previous video, we talk about the heart, and the heart is something that is worn on the chest of the fighter in the stick fighting competition. Here in this particular set, Kwamina has the heart on the ground within this yard where the people lived, right? And so she would have utilized the element from the stick fighting to inform what her set would look like. What else do you think is needed as a practitioner, and how it is that practitioner utilize the form, not just theater practitioners, persons of literature, etc., but who are some of the other practitioners who continue to utilize the stick fighting, and that can also aid in the preservation. If you're within those territories where stick fighting is being practiced, just go ahead and put and drop some names in the comment section. Tell us who they are and tell us what it is that they do, right? So we can also understand how they too are continuing the preservation of stick fighting through their practice. I trust and hope that this video has been quite useful. So until I do another video, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel.